And I don't know if that's potentially what happened with Taylor. I have no idea. And I do hope that at some point she's able to tell her side of the story, because as I've said before, if this case has taught me anything, it is that you need to hear both sides.
The world thought the legal battle surrounding It Ends With Us was a standard Hollywood dispute over creative control. But the unsealing of high-stakes courtroom documents has revealed a reality far more damaging than anyone could have imagined. For months, Blake Lively has positioned herself as the victim of a toxic production environment. But these unredacted text messages and undisputed facts tell a completely different story. It wasn't just a simple disagreement on set. It was a coordinated, multi-celebrity campaign designed to undermine and eventually erase the film's director, Justin Baldoni. As the public gets its first look at the horrifying level of manipulation occurring behind the scenes, the backlash against Blake Lively is no longer just about a movie. It's about a pattern of behavior that has shocked even her most loyal supporters.
Bet Taylor Swift is turning her tiny villain now after her mean girl antics have been exposed. Wouldn't be so bad for her right now if she had just been honest from the get-go. So disappointed after seeing the text messages from just rooting for you. It's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
People upset
And
that she's sort of shrugging off the essay that Justin had. Go ahead, yeah.
And bluntly put, it's like Andy's looking at a different page than I am of it, but it's the same comments, but of course it auto-populates differently for everybody. But it's like, I've got another one here from this person that says, isn't it ironic that Taylor Swift doesn't want anyone to control her music, and yet she helped her friend steal someone else's film? You know, like, and it just keeps going. Like, I'm just going to scroll.
As an ex-Swiftie, I'm heartbroken. Also, I feel deceived. I was rooting for you, Taylor, and I'm so shocked at your vindictive spirit. It's a lot of comments, guys. Now, again, I don't think it's going to really phase her in the long run. She's going to be very popular still. But it's just really sad. And again, she's making fun of Justin's SA story. Like, oh, play the tiny violin. It is such a bad look for her. Now, I don't know what actually happened. We still don't have all the text messages, I don't think. I do think Justin saved some.
The unsealed documents reveal a level of orchestration that feels more like a political thriller than a movie production. On April 12, 2023, an undisputed fact confirms that Blake Lively asked her friend, the world-famous musician Taylor Swift, for help in a specific power play against Justin Baldoni. Referring to him as the doofus director, Lively explicitly asked Swift to come to her penthouse and endorse a revised script she was proposing. What's truly shocking is that Lively told Swift she didn't even have to read the script before endorsing it in front of Baldoni. The goal was simple: use Swift's massive celebrity weight to intimidate the director into accepting Blake's version of the film. This wasn't an organic creative collaboration, it was a strategic ambush. Taylor Swift reportedly agreed to the bidding, texting Lively, "I'll do anything for you." The two met with Baldoni at Lively's apartment, where Swift followed through on the plan, providing a scripted endorsement for Blake's draft. Afterward, Lively celebrated the victory in a text to Swift, calling her epically heroic, and mocking Baldoni as a clown who fell for the entire performance. This level of calculation shows that before the cameras even rolled, the production was being hijacked by an elite social circle that viewed the director as an obstacle to be manipulated. The documents further reveal that Lively used her relationship with Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift as a threat. She described them as her dragons, protective forces meant to ensure she got her way. She even promised Baldoni that he would benefit from these relationships if he stayed in line. This dragon narrative wasn't just a metaphor, it was a professional warning. It paints a picture of a set where the director's authority was non-existent because the leading lady had the industry's biggest stars acting as her personal enforcers. For the public, the most disturbing part of this revelation is the realization that Taylor Swift, someone who built her brand on artist integrity, was a willing participant in undermining another artist's work. By agreeing to endorse a script she hadn't even read, Swift was helping Blake Lively steal the creative narrative of the film. This wasn't just a friend helping a friend. It was a high-level power play that has left many fans wondering how deep the rot of Hollywood's mean girl culture actually goes. The unsealed evidence also sheds light on the origins of the infamous New York Times article that first sparked the public feud. It turns out that Blake Lively and Taylor Swift were privately discussing the forthcoming article as early as December 4th and 5th, weeks before it was actually published. During these discussions, Taylor Swift reportedly referred to Justin Baldoni as a bitch and mocked his personal history by saying he had gotten out his tiny violin. This suggests that the hit piece was part of a long-term strategy to paint Baldoni as a villain before the public had a chance to hear his side of the story. The timing of these texts proves that the narrative was being crafted far in advance. The New York Times reportedly waited until the very last minute to seek comment from Baldoni and the production studio, giving them almost no chance to respond to the allegations Lively and Swift had been refining for weeks. This selective reporting was designed to give Lively the upper hand in the court of public opinion. By coordinating with one of the most powerful news outlets in the world, Lively was able to set the stage for a smear campaign that was almost impossible to stop. The tiny Violin comment is particularly damaging to Taylor Swift's image. It shows a callous disregard for Baldoni's personal experiences and trauma, framing his professional struggles as something to be mocked rather than respected. Swifties who have long defended Taylor's empathy are now seeing a vindictive spirit that contradicts her public persona. The texts show that Taylor wasn't just a bystander. She was actively contributing to the dehumanization of a colleague to satisfy her loyalty to Blake. This level of coordination between two of the world's biggest stars and a major media outlet is exactly what Baldoni's legal team calls a Hollywood smear machine. It wasn't about the truth. It was about ensuring that Blake Lively remained the hero of the story, regardless of who had to be stepped on to make it happen. The unsealed documents show that the PR war was being fought in private text threads long before the public ever saw a single frame of the film.
And I don't know if that's potentially what happened with Taylor. I have no idea. And I do hope that at some point she's able to tell her side of the story because, as I've said before, if this case has taught me anything, it is that you need to hear both sides before you make a judgment. Because as soon as Blake put out her complaint in that New York Times article, I believed her 100%. Then I saw Justin's stuff, I saw the evidence in the timeline, and I went, oh, this is a lot more complicated than what we were originally led to think. These were taken out of context. This is different, right? So I'm trying not to judge too harshly until we hear more, but that's just me.
Well, I'm judging harshly because the backlash isn't just on Taylor, it's on Blake. And I want to go to this comment because, guys, I think this is a smoking gun. I'm shocked more people haven't jumped on it. I'm shocked it wasn't even in the court system.
The unsealed evidence reveals that Blake Lively didn't stop with Taylor Swift. She attempted to recruit the entire A-list of Hollywood into her battle against Baldoni. Documents show that she told famous friends, including Matt Damon, his wife Lucy Damon, and Ben Affleck, that she had essentially rewritten and restructured the entire script herself. She claimed she was directing the movie via the chaotic clown, a derogatory nickname she used for Baldoni in several private messages. This was a deliberate attempt to poison the well of Hollywood perception against him. By telling people like Ben Affleck that Baldoni was a chaotic clown, Lively was ensuring that he would be blacklisted from future high-level projects. She wanted her version of events to be the only one that reached the inner circle of the industry. The texts reveal she urged her friends, including Bradley Cooper and Colleen Hoover, to support her cut of the film over the director's, effectively making it a popularity contest where Baldoni stood no chance. The documents show a systematic effort to strip Baldoni of his professional dignity in front of the people who matter most in his career. One of the most tactical moves revealed was the plan to use a Taylor Swift song in the trailer. Swift herself texted Lively, pointing out that if Baldoni was strategic, he would block the song because it gave Lively more power over the film. Swift explicitly told Lively, "That's your ally, not his." Lively responded by mocking Baldoni's intelligence, calling him stupid for not realizing that the music was a weapon being used against him. This shows that every creative choice, even the soundtrack, was being analyzed as a way to exert dominance over the production. This level of manipulation involving multiple A-list actors is mind-boggling. It shows a world where truth is whatever the most famous person says it is. Baldoni wasn't just fighting a co-star, he was fighting a coordinated front of Hollywood royalty. The unsealed evidence suggests that Lively wasn't just a lead actress. She was a self-appointed shadow director who used her social connections to bully the actual director into submission.
But we have these text messages that Blake is writing to her own management team. And there's a specific part I want to focus on, and this is really the more important than any of the backlash or Taylor Swift comments. I just know a lot of you guys are invested in that part of it. But this part's incredibly revealing. Now, this is the beginning of the movie, before it's shot, like the very early days of production, right? And they're talking about, here's Blake to her managers. I asked Justin today, but I need their help in boarding the movie so that the body stuff is last to shoot, meaning the stuff with her, in undress because she wants to get better in shape. I'm working my ass off, literally working out twice a day, 4 hours a day, which is insane. But I'm treating it like my full-time job. It's also part of why I wanted to proxy push you to give me time to focus on that. But I just had a baby, and no matter how hard I work, it's a lot of it to accomplish and not a lot of time. And I want to set us all up for success. Something redacted. This sexiness in this film and the marketing, I'm sure, is critical to its success. I want to pause and focus on that again. The sexiness, her sexiness, Blake Lively's sexiness is so important. She's taking over the whole production schedule, so sure she can look more sexy later. The sexiness during those love scenes and abuse scenes, weirdly, but she's saying it. These are her words. The sexiness in this film and the marketing, I'm sure, is critical to its success. This just completely destroys her whole argument. She's in court. I was literally in the hearing yesterday, listening to this, and her lawyers hammering it. How dare you call her sexy? You can't speak to characters like that. It's not okay. To the actress that way, that's not okay. But meanwhile, Blake Lively is admitting in her own words, it is critical to the film's success that she, Blake Lively, look sexy. So when the director then calls that out and says, you look sexy, that's suddenly crossing the line of sexual harassment? I'm sorry. Make that make sense, people. We're not as active on TikTok. Someone clip this, please. Make sure this gets out. I want to see this everywhere. We are on TikTok, Popcorn Planet on TikTok. We're going to try to be more active. Let us know if you want us to be more active, but we could use more followers there. Maybe we would get more active. Kim, am I crazy? This is a smoking gun. She's in her own words saying sexiness is critical to its success. So then how can she be offended if the director is saying that outfit looks sexy? Does that not translate to that's sexy? That's going to help us be critically successful.
The legal drama took an even darker turn with the revelation that Blake Lively's team was actively seeking information from personal devices before they were ever subpoenaed. In August 2024, Lively connected with Stephanie Jones, a former publicist for Baldoni, through a mutual acquaintance. The goal was to discuss information found on the personal phone of Jennifer Abel. Taylor Swift was also involved in this thread, mocking the situation by texting, "Can you believe this PR chick wants to get info to Blake?" This suggests that the quest for dirt on Baldoni was an active project for the entire group. Lively was reportedly advised that the phone contained the most disturbing messages a 30-year industry veteran had ever read. However, the fact that Lively was reviewing these messages before a legal discovery process raises serious questions about the ethics and legality of her team's tactics. It points to a win-at-all-costs mentality, where privacy and professional boundaries were ignored to gain leverage in a lawsuit. The unsealed documents show a group that was desperate to find a smoking gun to justify their earlier claims of misconduct. The texts reveal that Lively directed her legal team to file a lawsuit in New York, alleging that unidentified defendants were breaching contracts to damage her business and reputation. This was a preemptive strike designed to silence anyone who might speak out about the behavior occurring on set. By using expensive lawyering and the threat of litigation, Lively was able to maintain a level of control that prevented the true story from coming out for months. For viewers, this is the part of the story that feels the most horrifying. It's not just about a movie feud. It's about a powerful celebrity using her resources to dig into the private lives of her colleagues to find ways to damage them. The unsealed evidence suggests a level of sneakiness and manipulation that is far removed from the nice guy image the Reynolds Lively empire has built over the years.
Well, I think it also goes back to the video that they put out, a while ago of her talking about her shoes and saying how sexy the shoes were, that we're talking about this wardrobe. And that word is used multiple times that we have seen through evidence to describe the wardrobe. I really don't think it's that weird. So it does feel like a little bit of almost like selective outrage. And I can see why this would be problematic. And again, I'm so interested to see if this does proceed to trial, what the jury will think when they read things like this. They see clips like Blake saying, my shoes are sexy. I'm paraphrasing, but you know the clip I'm talking about, Andy. And then, her getting upset about that being used to describe her wardrobe in character, in a scene. I can't see I think a jury is going to have an issue with that. They're going to think it's
100%.
ridiculous.
She's using the word, but he can't. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's selective outrage. Beautifully said. And it's like, it's just double standard. Why can't he say a term that you just announced is critically successful, like critical to the film's success? Like, that's her words, guys. And then it's so crazy because, again, this is day one of the film. And she's telling, they haven't boarded the film yet, meaning storyboarded. They haven't set locations. They haven't cast fully yet. And Justin's being, and then they're at, well, what's Justin's response? Justin's being very kind and supportive. Day one.
Yep.
Blake has no issue, but also said he'd make his best effort to consider, but not promise, because there are a lot of factors, location, which is true, because if none of these are set yet, that they may need not to determine this. Maybe this helps to determine, inform that. Did you guys message already? I've not. Let us get to Jamie, Justin, Jamie first, and perhaps try to back him tomorrow. No, I want to get to Justin Baldoni first. I was just curious if Warren had messaged yet. Got it. I just parked. Need to write Jamie. Just hold a beat at that point. Let me get to Justin first. So here's like her using her own management team to help bully this behind the scenes. We're going to take over the schedule. This is before the film's even been scheduled.
Yeah, this is
and she's
February.
already using her managers to take control of a film that the director clearly isn't going to. Let's inform him that that's what's going to happen. Now, I'm not saying that's not a smart idea. Like Chris Evans, right? He made sure his when he's holding the plane in Captain America, he wants to show off the hard work of making those abs. I get it. A lot of actors request that, but you don't get to dictate it, right? It comes to the schedule and the budget and everything else that comes in the line. And the fact that she's now having multiple scenes be forced to the end, it's not her call. She can advise it. They can advise it, but it feels very, very controlling from day one.
As the public finally gets to see the unredacted truth, the fallout for the Lively Swift brand is becoming catastrophic. New revelations show that TMZ and other major outlets were being fed negative stories by Lively's team, including her longtime publicist, Leslie Sloan. The plan was to be the first to push their evidence to the media to gain an upper hand. This is why we saw a flurry of negative stories about Baldoni just as the legal filings were becoming public. It was a coordinated press plant designed to drown out the facts. The unsealed texts also suggest that Taylor Swift's recent distancing from Blake might be more about self-preservation than a genuine change of heart. As the documents prove her deep involvement in the scheme, Swift is reportedly terrified of being called as a hostile witness in a public trial. Her comments mocking Baldoni's trauma are now part of the public record, and she has no interest in explaining them under oath. The shift in her camp is a tactical retreat designed to separate her brand from Blake's increasingly toxic legal mess. The press is now facing a reckoning for how they handled the original Lively as victim narrative. Journalists like Kirsty Flaw, who have been calling out the illusion of Hollywood for years, are finally seeing the receipts that prove their suspicions. The unsealed evidence shows that the media was being manipulated by an elite group of celebrities who used their power to silence dissenting voices and promote a one-sided story. The backlash isn't just about Blake, it's about the entire smear machine that allowed this to happen. Ultimately, the unsealed evidence has destroyed the credibility of Blake Lively's claims of a hostile work environment. The documents prove that the environment was hostile because she made it that way, using her dragons to intimidate anyone who didn't follow her script. As the May 2026 trial approaches, the world is finally seeing that the true chaotic clown wasn't the man behind the camera, but the one who orchestrated a multi-million-dollar war in the shadows of a penthouse apartment. Blake Lively's supposed evidence has exposed more about Hollywood's PR maneuvers than Justin Baldoni's actions. The unsealed scheme involving Taylor Swift, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck has turned a harassment claim into a case study of institutional bullying, raising doubts about why any of these stars were ever part of this filing at all. Fans have called it a horrifying betrayal of professional ethics, pointing out how the mean girl antics have finally been unredacted. It's a reminder that perception can outweigh truth until the text messages are unsealed. Before choosing sides, we have to ask how many stories we accept because they come from our favorite stars, not because they've actually been proven in a court of law.